Alright, welcome back to Nier Replicant. Last time we came to this village, found out about its thousands upon thousands of rules, and found out that their king was dead and didn't find a cure for the Black Scrawl, and the prince was gone. So we went to go rescue the prince, and we found him in this weird dungeon place with a weird monster box creature thing, and we saved him and then got some information from him, and that was basically it. So now we're gonna go check up on Yonah and see if she's doing all right. So that's what we're gonna go do. Hooray! I don't think there's a quick travel. I don't remember. So we're gonna just run there and see how she's doing. Hopefully, her illness hasn't gotten worse. But we'll see. Yeah. Wolf.
I suppose rules are rules, even if they are absurd.
I don't think they're absurd.
Oh,
Those rules are important to the masked people.
you don't say.
I do. And I think it's important we respect that.
Well, well. The boy is beginning to sound like a man.
Boy, I'm not a kid, you know.
Hey, less talking, more walking.
Yes, ma'am. No, I'm good. Maybe some other time. Yonah, I'm home. What do we got here? Gold. Defense drop. Hey, Yonah, you seem to be doing good. How are you? It's been a while.
Yonah,
Oh, hey,
how are you feeling?
better now that I'm taking the medicine you brought.
Good.
By the way, are you gonna stay here today?
Sure, I'll stay.
You bet.
Really? You'll stay with me? Really?
Yeah, Yonah, I'll stay.
Yay!
Now get back to bed.
Okay.
I wonder if that choice had a different outcome. I hear a voice. I squint and see a boy standing before me. His hair is silver, his skin is pale, and he stares up at me with hard, glassy eyes. Soon his lips begin to move, but no sound comes out. What is he saying? Can't hear him. I can't hear him. I can't hear him. I can't hear him. I can't. Try to leave, but something about the boy holds my gaze. I watch his face expressionless as his lips slowly flutter. What is he trying to say? Wait, it's a phrase. I can almost make it out. It starts with an S, and there's an E. I can almost see it now. The letters begin to fall together one after the other, faster and faster. Sealed verse. It's a sealed verse. The thing I'm looking for, the key to saving my sister. I stare at the boy with renewed ferocity, trying desperately to make out his next word. Dream. Dream? What? What the hell does that mean? The lips move again, faster now. I can't follow them. Damn it, I can't make it out. I want to scream, I want to tear the walls down around me, but instead I force myself to be calm. I can do this. I can do this for Yonah. Slowly and ever so slowly, I parse out the letters that make up his final words. Forest of Myth. Weird. The next morning.
Just a dream. Even in my dreams, I'm hunting sealed verses.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Yonah.
What's wrong? Are you feeling sick too?
No, I had a strange dream.
What was it about?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
'Cause I had a dream too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Me and this boy were playing a game together.
What kind of game?
It was called Guess the Words. I think he made it up because I never heard of it before.
How did it work?
The boy would move his mouth, but no words would come out. Then I had to guess what he was trying to say. It was hard. I wanted to play hide and seek, but we had to play his dumb game instead.
So what did he say?
I don't know. All I could figure out was dream and forest of myth. But don't worry, I'm gonna study hard so that next time I can figure out everything. We should play a game together sometime too.
Sure, Yonah.
So we had the same dream.
I'm ready to make that stew anytime.
Right, I forgot about that stew. I don't remember what we needed. I think venison and carrots or something? I don't remember. Sorry, Yonah, not today.
Something troubling you, lad?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Come on, I need to go ask Popola something.
Popola. Hey, Popola, I'm back. Been a while.
What's up, Popola?
Oh, hi. I just got a strange letter in the mail.
Dearest Popola, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing in hopes of bringing to your attention a certain dream issue of concern regarding recent events in Dream the Village. I was hoping I might be able to get your advice, Dream, on the matter. Recently, there have been dream reports, dream of a certain dream, evil dream, empty dream, cursed dream, evil dream, words, dream, and yep, someone, lots of dreaming.
That is certainly one bizarre piece of writing.
Very.
Who's it from?
The mayor of a small village in the Forest of Myth. It's a wooded area up north.
The Forest of Myth?
They're usually a bright and cheerful group of people. Something like this is very out of character for them. I have a bad feeling about this.
Me too.
I'll check it out.
You will? But...
Don't worry about it. I've got business there anyway.
Oh, well, alright. Thank you.
No problem, Popola. Let's go see this village with weird dreams that both my sister and I had, and I assume the entire village as well. The Forest of Myth. I don't really want to fight the boar, but I feel like I could take him on. We'll try.
Hey, it's a wild boar!
Have you the skill to hunt one of those down?
I don't know. They look pretty strong.
Ooh. Anne, I'm gonna need your help.
This is impossible!
Herrish Beast. I kill it! Yes! I didn't think I could actually kill it. Hell yeah. Thanks for the help. Anyway. The Forest of Myth. Yep, that's what it's called. The Forest of Myth.
It sure is quiet here.
Such silence bodes ill. There's trouble on the way. I'm certain of it.
You know, a little optimism now and then wouldn't hurt, Vice.
Such cheek. Beware. Beware.
Words? What do you mean?
Contagious words. Those who dream.
Those who dream?
Hold a moment. There is a strange new sensation in my mind.
Vice's voice rose in a quizzical way.
It is not quizzical.
What's going on?
The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes.
Perhaps we should start by asking this man.
Who are you?
We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help.
The mayor stared at Jedi Wolf and Vice.
If you can speak
I
to
can't
me,
read.
I must have caught you in my dream.
In your dream?
The mayor explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream has spread across the Forest of Myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. The village mayor had determined the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Vice stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly.
Now see here.
He said,
Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream?
Well, yes.
said the mayor,
I think you have.
In other words,
said Jedi
we've
Wolf.
caught the Death Dream?
Before the mayor could confirm Jedi Wolf's suspicion, Vice exploded with rage.
Ridiculous. Preposterous. Completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep.
That's just how the death dream works.
Though polite, the mayor was clearly trying to brush aside the book's remarks.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool.
The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who Jedi Wolf had seen and what they had discussed since coming to the village.
Something there must have caused you to enter my dream.
Said the mayor.
A certain conversation, a specific word, something.
Jedi Wolf and Vice racked their brains but could find no easy solutions. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations.
Grimoire Vice does not engage in meaningless conversations.
The mere suggestion that Vice chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride.
It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator.
Hey, I'm just reading the words, man.
It has demolished it utterly.
Irritated, Vice looked skyward as if searching for answers in the heavens.
I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already.
The anger created by his harsh words bled over to Jedi Wolf like a contagion. Wait, said Jedi Wolf suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Vice aside in the process. He must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words? What was it? It was about dreaming or something, that dreams or... Oh, what the hell was it? A sheep? Cried Vice suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Jedi Wolf's face suddenly lit up. I remember, he said, those who dream. That's what he said, I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Jedi Wolf. That sounds right, he said as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the Death Dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along, but I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Vice immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will to take... I fucked that up. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said, but perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping off the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular. It was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. But once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. I won't stop trying to until it happens. Jedi Wolf nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second. I did nod. Look, if we can be of any help, said Jedi Wolf, just ask. Now hold on, I did not just say that. Silence! Cried Vice. The Grimoire looked from Jedi Wolf to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Vice's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor, you told us that nothing can exist in the stream without your knowing of it. But yet you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my god, he said. You're right. You're right. I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is limitless. A limitless engine, said Vice, and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He had almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, he called out at the departing forms of Jedi Wolf and Vice. We're all counting on you. As Jedi Wolf slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of deja vu. Saw this man once before, he thought. But where? Jedi Wolf's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he had been confident that he could get in and find the exit and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once, he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Vice was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Jedi Wolf to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Vice muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Jedi Wolf snapped. Okay, Vice, cram it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk. Jedi Wolf leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can the stupid forest be so big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out at a volume that rattled his teeth. Jedi Wolf slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. Vice, what's going on? Jedi Wolf could see Vice's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled. And then, just as Jedi Wolf's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Three. Shock. Chiki. Wuma. Chik. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Jedi Wolf began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise. It's something else. The insects weren't just calling out, they were asking a question. 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? The answer is a secret. The answer is seesaw. How should I know? 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. Seesaw? Something that's ideal with 2 people but dangerous with 3. Oh, it's a seesaw. Vice's mouth flew open. Before you could say anything, the world suddenly shifted. Ring, wah. Shik. When Jedi Wolf came to, he was once again surrounded by the sounds of insects. The cries of the insects were creating words he had heard somewhere before. 1 with it is lacking, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? Okay, so I answered wrong. And it's repeating. It's a secret. Inwardly furious that Vice left the task to him, Jedi Wolf sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. Right? The sound of the insect stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Jedi Wolf like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest arthropods are making a road for us, said Vice with glee. Pleased that passing the test, Jedi Wolf moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said Jedi Wolf after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Jedi Wolf picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Absurdly easy, barked Vice. Now answer it. Jedolf grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all. This one is pretty easy. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Vice softly, I've never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey look, cried Jedolf, awakening Vice from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Jedolf walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Jedolf, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but the end the night with 3. What am I? 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon. But end the night with 3. What am I? Jedolf tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Jedolf. Well, at least it's an easy one. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but end of the night with 3. What am I? 4 legs in the morning and 2 at end the night with 3. This doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think it's a man. A demon? As soon as the words were spoken, the forest began to swirl around them. Leaves browned and fell from trees, branches withered and died, the tall green grass shriveled into dark curls of ash. Suddenly a massive demon appeared before Jedolf and unleashed a tremendous roar. Wrong! Now try again. An angel? As the words were spoken, Jedolf found himself covered in snow of perfect white feathers. A warm, gentle feeling ran up his spine as a creature of unimaginable beauty shimmered into existence. Jedolf found himself unable to hold back tears as the being's voice rang out. You are incorrect. Please make another choice. Okay, well, it's a man then. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Jedolf. The small man slowly shook his head. I'm not the mayor you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. Sorry? What's that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the death dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Jedolf watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Jedolf and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it! You actually made it back! His left hand grasped Jedolf's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Vice by the cover and swung him through the air. Gah, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool. We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Jedolf withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the Death Dream's seal, he said. At least I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as Jedolf filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the 3 of them laid down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Jedolf cocked his head. Okay, hang on a second. This is crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Jedolf and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten? Continued Vice. It is words that control the Death Dream. Words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Jedi Wolf shook the mayor's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. I think we made it. Oh wow, said the mayor in an odd voice. We did. I'm back. He blinked once and then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. You two have no idea how much this means. The death dream was spreading through our village and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream. The mayor started to stand and collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, then glanced at Jedi Wolf and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Your life may take some getting used to, said the mayor, as a wry smile crossed his lips. You shall relearn in short order, I am sure, said Vice. For now, you should return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree, he explained when the prayer was finished. It's guardian of our village's history and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder, muttered Vice. We should not put our faith in the gods. The mayor shook his head. Not the gods, the words. Legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as a sealed verse. Jedi Wolf and Vice could not contain their surprise. It seemed a goal had been found at the most unexpected of places. Hey, say, muttered Vice, this is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, Jedi Wolf mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle and the mysterious words he had left them with. I once saw a version of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. What in the world does that mean? Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, this is going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before too. Jedi Wolf tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figured it's just some kind of illusion created by the death dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Jedi Wolf gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. What exactly is going on here? That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Got a sealed verse. Wow.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Right. It looks like there's a bunch of villagers and the tree. Looks like the tree will be unlocked if we help everyone.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sorta creeps me out.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior. I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me. Possibly I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy in a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire of Vice. This is Jedi Wolf. Long have we been searching for you? Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Jedi Wolf extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. Never thought to hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grandma Weiss. Look at your feet. Force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. So much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors, proceed north. At the end of the corridor, I found a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns and fall upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. Insanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether scream or laughter I cannot be certain, that my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors, proceed east. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. At the end of the path, the waters rise to my waist, exhausting me both physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually I can stand the sight of the waters no longer, and so turn my eyes upward. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me, leading to me to believe that these people had lived long, long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It is constructed of a thin, breezy cloth and decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt of the most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume even by modern standards. As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my own hands. Yet as I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another figure. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner? A fellow inmate, trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass, and so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside I can just make out a body. Whether or not this is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. The poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of the fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted in the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough! Shielding my eyes, I paddle forward through the water. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed. I keep going north. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed west. At the end of the path, a row of heavy wooden casks lie on their sides in a dark chamber. Doubtless they are filled with wine. My thirst roars to life. I cannot remember the last time my parched throat had relief. I scramble to the first cask and pull frantically at the cork. The theft of a few cups means nothing, I tell myself. The casks will be ruined by the flood regardless. Finally, the cork surrenders to my attack and thick red liquid bursts forth from the hole. This is no wine. It is blood still warm from the body. Whether animal or something else, I cannot say. The foul liquid soon mixes with the rising floodwaters, creating a warmth that laps against my thighs. By all the gods, are the rest of these casks filled with blood as well? I lack the courage to confirm my suspicion. Disgust quickly becomes fear as I turn to flee, but my weakened legs betray me, sending me toppling over into the red ocean below. The smell of death is everywhere. It threatens to consume me. I must escape this hell. Crawling on all fours like an animal, holding back screams lest any foulness enter my mouth, I lurch forward through the red waters and out of the room to freedom. I squint down the corridor, proceed east. The water has risen to my chin and now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. "You dumb bastard," shouts Jedewolf. He surely desires to say more, but the rest of his insult is cut short by the rising water. Grimoire of Ice, wet and tattered, floats on the water's surface. It is already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Fuck. I died! La. Damn. I have to start. Where am I? Where am I? I don't know where I am. Oh, at the beginning of the village, I think. Alright. Try this again. I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, and as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in the remains, and this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands and slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat up the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. Or if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasps frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment. Though in truth I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. I squint down the dim corridors. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. "Break it down," someone cries, and so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Jedewolf and Grimoire of Ice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. "How can I thank you?" I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. "Your dress?" asked Vice. "Then you are a woman, madam?" "I am." I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Jedewolf is disappointed the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As you watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. Castle's dead have awakened to their new life, as shades.
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
One more.
And another victim. This work certainly is trying.
I figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Vice.
Even I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. Vice and Jedewolf had never seen such a sight, and their eyes widened as they tried to take it in.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away. What do you think, Vice?
Vice considered his answer. The sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity.
Perhaps they are some manner of mirage.
He said. Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. Jedewolf nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, the thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made Jedewolf lightheaded. His feet hurting, he crouched down to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Someone playing a joke on us or what? The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke? He said. No joke. This road leads to the city of art. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not, but thinking of it in this way might make it easier for you to bear. Jedewolf glanced at Vice's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. As time passed, Jedewolf's feet grew more painful and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. We're definitely getting closer, said Vice in an effort to cheer his companion. Yes, this much is certain. Encouraged, Jedewolf lifted his gaze. Suddenly he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open and his finger pointing in the distance. Water, he cried. It's water. Water, asked Vice. Preposterous. I don't see any water. Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun is reflecting off of it. Without waiting for a response, Jedewolf sprang to life and bounded toward the site. What? There was no water. There was nothing but sand in every direction. Jedewolf closed his eyes and sighed as Vice floated up behind him and chuckled softly. I believe this is known as a mirage, he said. Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things. Jedewolf shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. Wait, there it is! I just missed it! Look, it's right there! Jedewolf sprinted off again, leaving Vice with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, Jedewolf came to a halt. I could have sworn it was right around here. Confused, he put his hands up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue, shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Vice finally flooded up to Jedewolf and struck him in the face with his cover. Enough, you blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here! Jedewolf's face clouded. There isn't? There is not, and perhaps next time you will listen to me when I tell you so as much. Vice paused for a moment, then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the city of art. Jedewolf looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. They're huge, cried Jedewolf, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. I've never seen anything so big. Each sculpture was formed from roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched up toward the sky. That is where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. What kind of city is this? Said Jedewolf. Where are the people? Where are the houses? Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use. The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silent on steel rails. Beautifully carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were composed of materials they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of color and styles were staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, Jedewolf and Vice eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shape of humans. Jedewolf uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. Finally, I was getting tired of modern art. 3 statues were indistinguishable except for a single word chiseled into their right arms. One read Alpha, one read Beta, and the final one Gamma. Jedewolf moved to touch the nearest statue. A bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on the statue's shoulder, it emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will always speak lies. With that, the bird departed as if on cue. The 3 statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. Hey, look at that, said Jedewolf. They're alive. The triplets bowed low before Jedewolf. Please, said Alpha. You have to get me out of this nightmare. I'm real. Stop lying, said Beta. He turned to Jedewolf and threw his hands in the air. Alpha's a fake, you know it. I'm the real one. What a load of crap, said Gamma. Beta is a fake. Everyone knows I'm the only real one around here. The respective pleas given, the 3 statues returned to the frozen state as silence once again and enveloped the city. When you consider all of the statements, only one of them could be the real thing, said Vice. Jedewolf furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth, the false ones will only speak lies. Or with Gamma. The real one is Gamma. The eyes of the statue shone with an eerie light. The light grew stronger and stronger until Jedi Wolf and Vice were forced to turn away.
It would seem we failed.
Yeah,
We'd best act more carefully next time.
this is the worst job ever.
Go with Beta this time. Though Jedi Wolf's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Vice nodding at him. If Alpha were telling the truth, began Vice in the dry tones of a lecturer, Beta and Gamma would be fakes, but in that case, Gamma's claim that Beta is fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar, therefore that theory crumbles. Now let us presume that Gamma spoke the truth that makes Alpha and Beta liars. In this situation, however, Beta is claiming Alpha a liar, which would leave us with two statues telling the truth. Finally, let us assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense, therefore Beta must be real. As Vice finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. "Congratulations, villager," said Vice in a cheerful voice. "The time to awaken has arrived." "Thank you for saving me," cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before an uncomfortable Jedi Wolf pulled him to his feet. "Why did you have a dream like this?" asked Vice. "Have you been to this city before?" The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape, then shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's possible. Impossible, right? There's no way I could have ever been to a place like this. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before. Deja vu, muttered Jedi Wolf. Just like the mayor. The vague sense of unease that struck Jedi Wolf during the mayor's dream spread once more through his mind.
That was rough.
I am positive I have seen that place before.
Okay, that's enough. Don't need you getting all weird on me too. Okay, there. Now all the villagers can wake up, right?
Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct. I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much.
You're telling me. Anyway, let's go see the mayor.
We've done it, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, how wonderful. Thank you so much. Here, I have something for you.
One-handed sword. Faith, thank you.
Wow, this looks valuable. I can really have it?
Of course. It's apparently a weapon of some renown, but we have little use for it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you again for everything.
No problem. Alright, I'm going to end it there. That was a lot of reading. I didn't expect that. Thanks for watching. I will be doing this next week, so you can go check that out. If you missed any of it, there's a playlist on YouTube. You can go check out the playlist and rewatch them or watch them for the first time over there. Yeah, I think that's it. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see all of you next time. Bye-bye.